The other day I was talking to the Fox people in the pregame. Just talking about good stories. We talk in August about we need good stories. Two of the better stories I think we've had. Both been pretty quiet because they're linemen, but Klug and Riley Reef. I think Riley's played as well as any lineman on our football team. Quite frankly, offensive lineman. He really had a tremendous season, and scared to death up in Ames when we had to throw him in there. And I think we had about 3 days to know he was going to be playing that day, and he went in and competed as hard as he could. And a week or two later, we're up in State College, and he's doing the same thing. So. This guy has just played well all season long, and he's done it very quietly, but not unappreciated by the staff. And then flipping it over, two of our biggest losses last year on the whole football team were King and Kroll, obviously, and Carl never started really. I don't think he started a game prior to this year, and he might have played as well as any of our defensive linemen this year. So, pretty quietly, both those guys have really had great seasons, and that's one of the reasons we're standing here right now. Those are two of the better stories that we've had in quite some time. And again, that's college football. That's what you need to have a good team. And boy, I can't say enough about both those guys.
If you go with that switch a little bit on the O-line, is that as much Riley excelling and taking the tackle mantle?
Yeah. It just we'll see what happens. We may play him out there. We may play Kyle. The good news is we got 3 guys we feel pretty good about at tackle, and Dace is off that duty right now. But we got 3 guys I think that can play good tackle for us. And I think we got 3 guys at guard right now we feel pretty comfortable with, and hopefully it's a good situation.
Those guys are going to have their hands full with Derek Morgan.
No question. Yeah, anybody that plays against him is going to have a tough day. That guy can play. He's a very good player, and their other guys up front are good too. I mean, these guys are a championship team, but number 91 can go. He's a very dangerous player.
Last year, after a lengthy time off, you guys were still able to establish a physical presence and a great tempo against South Carolina. How do you find that?
And I'll answer that one by saying this. Big Ten, a lot of Big Ten bashing recently, so I've heard. Part of even internally with us in our league meetings, Cheez-Its at delay. It didn't seem to affect Penn State or Ohio State the other day. And I think we're still playing in January, and I think we still ended like we have in the past. So I just think all that stuff's so overrated. I think it's more about the mental approach that the team takes, and that's just me personally. I know I'm in the minority, but we had a poor mental approach in 2002, December 2002, and it showed on the field. We had a good one last year. It showed that year too. So I think it's more about that than it is calendar dates and all that kind of thing. I think it's what you do with the dates that you have. And, I'm not saying, obviously you get in a flow. I understand that, but I think it really gets overplayed like a lot of things. Everybody, we all want to have a reason why everything is so bad or so good. And it's not that.
Can you tell from practice what?
No, I can never tell. So we'll find out in a couple of days here. But I wish I was that smart. I never
Coach,
know.
how does a cold weather game like this give you the edge over Georgia Tech?
I don't know if it gives us an edge, but it's Hawkeye weather. I like that. So it's perfect. We had our day off, quote unquote day off. It was a couple days ago. It was our lift day, and like a Monday back home, and that was probably the nicest day we've had here. So I know the guys got to enjoy the pool. Timed that up perfect. I wish I could take credit. And now we're getting some good football weather here, so this is perfect. But yeah, it gets cool in Georgia too. Remember that '82 Peach Bowl? Froze our off. Oh my God! For practice. The game wasn't bad.
Can I dub that word in?
Our tails got frozen off. Exactly.
What has AJ meant to your team?
An awful lot. He's first of all played very well in his role on the field for 3 years. And then, beyond that is the leadership that he's brought. And that started a year ago. We had a great senior class a year ago, but a lot of our juniors were really, carrying the load too. And, guys like AJ, Tony have really, Pat, Anger, have really grown into clearly the top leadership roles this year. So, he's given us a lot on the field through his play, but I think every bit as important as, just what he brings as a leader too. And he's just so steady, so dependable, and does it in a very quiet fashion. Part of that's the position he plays, but part of it's his personality too. He's not a attention-seeking guy, but he just goes out and does his job. And it's we're losing last year's King and Kroll. Now we're losing 2 pretty savvy linebackers, and it's kind of the King Kroll personas too. Same kind of parallel there. But the guy's a heck of a football player.
Did AJ and Ricky kind of rub off on each other, with that leadership role, learning together, stuff like that?
Yeah, I think and Stanzy's in a position where he should be a leader, and I think he's emerged in that role too. And To me, AJ was probably further along on that curve, maybe. But you know, Pat and Rick Stanzi were the two guys I thought that really. You can see them starting in January, just kind of ascending. You know, last year they were really just learning how to play, and they played well. But this year they went beyond that.
Have you let Wegger or Robinson get hit down here, or are they pretty much off?
Yeah, but we don't tackle. We don't tackle in December. You know, once we get out of camp, I think before I talk, I don't. You know, with our travel team, I mean, we don't do any live tackling. We just don't. We haven't, never will, and. So I mean, but they've been banged around all that stuff. You know, they've been hitting, and you know, we've had some intense workouts, but we haven't done any live tackling. I just don't do that.
Have they been?
Out with that red jersey today, but switched over to black. Was that a field thing for him?
Yeah, I don't know what that was all about, but he's fine. Yeah, he's fine.
Coach, it looks like you have 15 or 20 members of the team. I see some guys in Hawkeye helmets over there.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I like their mentality. I know that. I don't know if they can play football, but they're all a little off center. Those guys are
How
fun.
special is that? I mean,
Oh, it's awesome. That's great. That's great. They got those guys. Those guys have fun. They like their jobs.
Coach, who are some of the guys you relied on to mimic Georgia Tech's?
We don't have anybody. I mean, you know, we got. I don't mean that disrespectfully for our guys, because the guys that did the best they could. But you know, we use a couple scout team receivers. I mean, you know, we don't have anybody like Nesbitt. We don't have anybody like Dwyer, and we don't have anybody like that receiver. So, you know, they execute so well. There's no way our line can execute like theirs does. You know, so that's one of the challenges of this thing. I mean, we've seen everything now a lot, but we haven't seen it the way it's going to look on Tuesday. So that's the next step here.
At the end of the day, what's it going to come down to on Tuesday?
Well, you know, like most games, it's usually in bowl games in particular. You know, penalties, dumb penalties, which you know alluded to. We were guilty of that in 03. You know, it's 02 season, 03 bowl game. You know, turnovers are typically big. Special teams in bowl games are typically big, a lot like early season games. And then, you know, if you take care of those things, then it's probably going to come down to a couple key situations. You know, how teams handle things. So we'll see.
Is that it, guys?
Okay, I surrender. All right. See you guys at the game.